What's going on, you guys? My name is Mr. Jubear, or Austin, or the Insomniac. I have a lot of names. And if you did not know, which you probably do because you are watching this video right now, run the Tumblr, mrjubear.tumblr.com. I also run two other Tumblrs, insomniacquestions.tumblr.com. It's for my YouTube channel. And Austin Rudd Photography, which is just to showcase all my photography. I'm going to put all the links down below so you guys can check it out and all that shit. But that's not why I'm making this video. It's off YouTube. This is just Tumblr. I'm making this video to help out my friend 20-something Hussy. She knows I'm a photographer. She asked me about photography, and I figured I would help her out because I want to help out friends. And I figured if you guys are wondering about photography or stuff like that, you can also, benefit from this video. Just simple stuff that I've learned about photography that helped me progress throughout my photography and etc., all that crap. So, I'm going to start off simple. And this will be kind of more tailored towards DSLR cameras, digital, moving in that age. I know stuff about SLR cameras. Point and shoot cameras are very simple just because, it's not as much about, shutter speed and stuff like that because they are much more simple. But with cameras like DSLRs that have detachable lenses, you need to know a lot of stuff and it's not always easy. So, a few things. Definitions are always good. Shutter speed. Pretty self-explanatory. How fast the shutter opens, closes. So it's pretty much determining how much light is let into the camera based on time. So say that you had your shutter speed set to 1/60th of a second. With this shutter speed, you are letting in light to the lens that is being, is written to the digital file for 1/60th of a second. You change it to 2 seconds, you're letting in light for 2 seconds. You only go to that, amount of time if it's a darker scene, etc. You let in more light. Also, if you're doing that long, use a tripod. Anything over about a 60th of a second, and by over, I mean, 1/30th of a second, 1/2 of a second, 1 second, or longer of a shutter speed, use a tripod. You're going to get camera shake, which is not fun. What can you do about that? Second thing is ISO. ISO, pretty much your ISO goes in increments of 100. So you have 100, 200, 400, 800, and it doubles up from there. I would highly advise you to leave your ISO if you're doing digital stuff at 100 no matter what. Your ISO can help you in darker situations where you can, put the ISO higher, but what it does is it adds grain. It adds noise. You'll see, if you go to print out your stuff, you'll see little tiny dots. And overall, if you're going for high photographic quality, you should keep your ISO at 100. 200 at the max. 400 if you're really, you're really pushing it. But if you're going up into the range of 1600, 3200, it'll ruin your photo and you'll feel bad. I know, I've done it. I've ruined great photos by putting the ISO up a bunch when I didn't know. Third thing is very important is FStop. The FStop goes in strange increments that I'm not going to go over because they are kind of complicated a little bit. But what you should need to know is FStops determine how wide pretty much the hole is. So it's how much light is being let through the lens. So say I have an f-stop of f5. This is just a fictional f-stop that doesn't really, it exists, but it doesn't really exist. If I have an f-stop of f5, I am letting in light. And this is a kind of a weird concept to get through because it's smaller number equals more light. I don't know why the webcam does that when I do that, but you will have with a lower number of your f-stop. So if it's at f 5.6, you'll be letting in lots of light. The larger you go, f13 gets smaller and smaller, so you're letting in less and less light. F-stop and shutter speed are directly connected because if you lower your f-stop, as in go from like f15 to f5.6, you are going to need to adjust your shutter speed in the same kind of fashion if you're trying to get the lighting correct. Something that should be known is the meter on your camera is good. Most cameras, newer cameras, definitely will have a meter, a lighting meter, and it will have a center area where it says you want to have your light. This can be true, can also be totally wrong. What that lighting meter is trying to do is get everything in your photo, all the lighting, to be like a middle gray, which is not always what you want at all. Trust it if you're not taking like high quality professional photos. A lot of times you just got to do it by eye. You got to do it by, trial and error. Trial and error is a huge part of photography. So a few things about aesthetics when it comes to photography. And this is coming from a personal, point. Pay attention to framing in the camera. Every time you crop a photo, it takes away dots per inch. It takes away resolution, and it makes your photo not as good. And I'm not saying like, oh, your photo's going to suck after you crop it. I've cropped many photos. I'm talking quality-wise. Pay attention to framing. Really do. Pay attention to little things intersecting in the backgrounds. Pay attention to what's in frame behind. If you're shooting a single subject, pay attention to what's behind the subject. Just pay attention to that kind of stuff because it will make your life easier when it comes to editing. Pay attention to lighting. If you're photographing people's faces, pay attention to shadows. How shadows work, how shadows change faces, how it, messes with clarity, all kinds of stuff like that. There's a lot to pay attention to in photography. People oftentimes think it's just like and then you're done, which it is sometimes, but more often than not, you're going to have to pay attention to a lot of things all at once. A few things about editing. Editing takes a lot of practice. I've been editing, like seriously editing photos for about a year, and it's not an easy process. And I'm a person who doesn't like to do a ton of editing, post. I like doing as much as I can in the camera. I like trying to get the lighting right in the scene. I like trying to get the model to do exactly what I want if I'm shooting a model, or I want to try to get the perfect lighting in the landscape if I'm doing a landscape. So, it's one of those situations where it's up to you. You can do a ton of post, and that's fine. You can do no post, and that's totally fine. That's a personal choice. When it comes to something else about photography, and this is more of a just so manage your files well. Put everything in separate folders based on project. Label everything very well. Don't just keep it in like that weird format that comes out of the camera, like -img9726.jpg or .raw or .tiff or whatever. Don't do that because you will lose files. I've done it. I've lost very important photographs to me because I didn't rename them and they got deleted. It's unfortunate, but it's what happens. Also, don't delete your files off your camera before you put them on an external and you then back them up somewhere else, because if you put them on your hard drive or computer, delete them off your camera immediately, and then you accidentally delete them or you mess up or you lose them, you're shit out of luck. And that doesn't feel good either, because I have also done that and it sucked. But yeah, lenses are, another thing when it comes to lenses, don't go over, like if you're using a zoom lens, say it's like 300 millimeter. If you zoom into 300 millimeter, it's probably a good idea to not go under 1/300th of a second when it comes to shutter speed, because you will see camera shake, just because naturally humans are shaky people. So use a tripod when you can. Tripods are your friend. They help out a lot. Trust me, they've helped me a lot. So I'm sorry this video ran long. I know it's long. I hope that some of this helped you. If you guys have any photography questions that you want to ask me, feel free to shoot me a message. I am happy to help any aspiring photographers. I'm happy to share my work with you. I'm happy to see other people's work because I love photography. So yeah, I just want to make this quick video. I hope it helped you, 20-something hussy. I hope it helps other people. And if you need anything from me, just shoot me a message and I'm here. I'm around. So thanks a lot, guys. I will talk to you later. Bye.